Next to Gaza, which the UN is now describing as, quote, the hungriest region on earth. Starving and desperate residents have been swarming these new controversial aid sites, which have been backed by Israel and the US. The health ministry there says 11 people have been killed and dozens more injured just trying to reach that crucial aid this week. There is much that is totally unclear about current ceasefire plans being floated. Meantime, according to officials in Gaza, the number of Palestinians killed has reached more than 54,000, and Israel keeps up the bombing. One such victim was 25-year-old Fatima Hassona. She's the subject of the heart-wrenching new documentary, Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk. It's made by the Iranian director Sbeide Farsi. The film bears witness to the sadness and the horror of her daily life in Gaza. One day after the movie was selected for screening at the Cannes Film Festival, Fatima, her pregnant sister, and several family members were all killed by an Israeli missile strike on their home. And filmmaker Sbeide Farsi is joining me now from Paris. Welcome to the program.
Hi.
Hi. There's just so much there that is surrounding what essentially is a 2-hour conversation between you and Fatima over a period of about a year. You know, when we start this conversation, you say that you wish you'd been able to go into Gaza, you tried to, but it was impossible. As we all know, the Israeli government will not let independent journalists in. And so you decided to talk in different ways. At the beginning, we see this optimistic, resilient young woman a whole year ago. Were you surprised about her demeanor, even under bombardment 6 or 7 months into the war?
I was surprised at the beginning, and then gradually I learned that part of this amazing smile she had day after day when we were talking, despite all the hardship she was going through, was due to her resilience, and another part was this dignity, you know, the face she wanted me to see when we were together, because at other moments she would send me audio messages or text messages which showed more despair. But when we were face to face, somehow I guess that helped also to be her to be up, but she was so amazingly radiant when we talked every time. And yes, I guess it was part of the magic of the thing and her magic.
And Sbeide, it's really extraordinary because I don't think I've ever seen a film which is basically a conversation, and not just any conversation. It's you with your iPhone, her with her, I guess, iPhone, and it's just your two faces mostly. There's some images that she has taken of Gaza. Why was it, you know, necessity being the mother of invention, or did you just decide that that was the way you were going to have this relationship?
Well, part of it was the fact that I could not get into Gaza physically, personally. That started it. I wanted to be there. I needed to go. I needed to understand, because it was really, it kept me from sleeping. I mean, the images I was seeing and the narrative from the Palestinian point of view missing in the, you know, media narrative. And I really needed that. And when I couldn't, and when I met her, I immediately gathered it was instant. That she was going to be the center of the film, and this felt like the most natural way to do it. You know, it was out of necessity, yes, but I could have done it in different ways. I could have done it with a more sophisticated camera, with a computer shots. You know, it just felt natural to be at the same level, just with the simplest way. You know, I'm Iranian. You know that I've made films with any possible means that I could. Priorly also with another mobile Tehran without permission. But I mean, this time it felt really right to really focus on her face and just to be as close. I don't know, it felt closer to her.
And it's incredibly compelling. I mean, you couldn't tear your eyes away, obviously,
yes.
And therefore it was really compelling. And we saw in the progression of the film her increasing despair, including over hunger. And I do actually want to play, you know, a short excerpt about that.
You see, my mind is very massive, and I have no focus because I have no healthy food or good food even. So I feel that I can't even stand up. you know, and I can't talk even. Every day I told my mom, I want a chicken. I hope or I wish if we had just chicken, because we didn't eat it for 9 months.
I mean, it's really awful, and we're seeing this play out on a big, big scale right now again. And there's a lot of denial by many in the Israeli government. They say, no, there's no starvation, but you can see what's going on. And people are absolutely desperate.
Wow, absolutely.
Yes. What reaction have you had to that aspect of the film?
And it's much worse than when I was
Yes.
talking to her now, you know. It's like, what to say? I mean, we come on, we just get out of our houses, we go to the supermarket, we buy anything we wish, you know, even with little money, we can get whatever we want. It's just unimaginable. It's hard to integrate for us. I'm repeating it. It might seem redundant, but like somebody not eating, not out of choice of being vegetarian, but not having access to chicken, to meat, to milk, to fruits. I mean, when her mother woke up after the injury, she's the only surviving person from the family after the attack. She just asked for an apple after 3 days.
Wow.
There were no apples in Gaza.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't find an apple.
Yeah.
I said, shall I send money? They said, it's not a problem of money. There are no apples in Gaza. I mean, I cannot eat an apple since it's like...
you know, that is very...
How to describe this degree of, you know...
That is very poignant. I remember somebody in the siege of Sarajevo telling me the same. They risked their lives to get an apple. It's extraordinary that you just mentioned the apple. But I want to ask you this. You know, for whatever reason, when I started to watch the film, I did not know that Sebide and much of her family... that Fatima and much of her family had been killed. And I watched the whole thing on the edge of my seat, wondering what or if there was going to be a denouement. And it gave me a very interesting vision, you know, while I was actually watching. You wanted to try to get her out and take her to Cannes for the film festival, which had selected your film as, you know, as the opening.
Yes.
What did you feel about that? I mean, that's a statement of putting, you know, the humanitarian situation in Gaza and the story of one woman right front and center. I
mean, you know, before, as I was coming to the studio to be with you, to meet you, I was reading the names of the people who had died in Gaza today, you know, and there's a list of names, a whole family, and I was reading one by one. And I can name you Fatim's family members, and I knew them personally, though through video. But I mean, it makes such a difference when you know them one by one, you know their ages, you know what they do. I know that his brother was a sleepwalker. He was 10, Yazan, and he was killed. And the other one, 15, and he would collect wood. And the other one, 20, the one who was curious and wanted to see me, who was speaking, you know, and the pregnant sister, all of them. I knew them one by one. And it makes such a tremendous difference when you know people and you lose them, you know. We were not family, but we were almost family. It was like, and I mean, I'm saying that to say that this indifference that the world is showing to these people, to their death, is inhuman. It's not normal. I mean, it's going to stain our humanity forever to watch this happening and not to do anything, you know, pretending that it's not there.
You know, we don't have a whole lot longer, but I'm just going to read one of the things that she said. If I die, I want a loud death. I don't want to be just breaking news or a number in a group. I want a death that the world will hear, an impact that will remain through time, and a timeless image that cannot be buried by time or place. And I think really, you know, just to wrap up, I think your film gave her that loudness, that voice.
When I watch the film now, I have a feeling that all she has written and all she sent to me and said to me was, in a way, a kind of premonitory, you know...
Premonition, yeah.
Unconsciously, knowledge of her, yes, premonition, exactly, of her knowing that she was going to go. but yet she had so much love for life.
Yeah.
And, you know, she was engaged and was going
Yeah.
to get married also. And she wanted to have children. She wanted to, I mean, many things. She wanted to.
Yeah.
But this has to stop. This really has to stop.
Well,
That's all I
yeah.
can say.
Yeah,
It
you know,
really needs to stop.
telling these human stories are vital, and thank you very much indeed.